3 days, 3 hours, 3 minutes, and 3 seconds until the last of the druids will be released on December 12th. And we already got the leader of the patch. And no, it's not Pathfinder, and yes, Pathfinder will be pretty broken. But actual winner of the patch will be Stormweaver. Even considering that all lightning skills now granting increased shock magnitude instead of more shock magnitude, if we take a closer look at this massive patch notes, we will find out loads of broken stuff for our friend Stormweaver. Well, let me explain. One of the biggest changes for Stormweaver in last patch in 0.3 was addition of remnants. Yeah, it's pretty cool and even fun on paper. You drop your magic and you wait a little bit and there will be infusion. So this infusion, where is it? Oh, I already got it. So let me cast it over here. That's infusion, or how it called, a remnant. Yeah, this little boy is remnant, we need to come close, get it, and then we will have this infusion basically. And lots of skills actually interact with these infusions. For example, Flame Wall may consume lightning infusion and also add lightning damage to projectiles. So now we can get like this combo playstyle. When we're creating Orb of Storms, we're waiting 5 seconds, it's super dynamic and fun gameplay, and then we're getting, hey, come on, where is my remnant? Oh my goodness, it takes so long. Finally, yeah, so here's my remnant, I can place my wall, I will shoot my magic, it's right now sparks with fire and extra lightning damage, and that's it. So right now we need to collect one more remnant. That's why not a lot of players actually a fan of this playstyle. But here's the fun part. For example, Spell, that's the wrong one, like Spark, got pretty powerful buffs. Normally it deals at level 13 up to 100 lightning damage, almost. But when it's cold infused, it will add extra cold damage on top, and cold damage is higher than lightning damage. Therefore, cold infusement on Sparks is just broken, let's be honest. But it's only broken if you can somehow cast Sparks with cold infusion, like a little bit more often than once every 20 seconds. And normally game kinda does not allow you to do this crazy stuff and shock and freeze enemies at the same time. But we got some changes, therefore we will need help of our friend Mr. Paint. Or is it Mrs. Paint? We will call it Mr. Paint. Anyway, first of all, let's talk about Spark. Cold infused Spark right now will deal unchanged cold damage at gem level 1, but it will scale up to 310 cold damage at maximum gem level, without any corruptions and other stuff. And it's around like 15% higher than before, so it's like even more powerful. At the same time, lightning damage on Spark also unchanged on tier 1 gemstone, but at maximum level it's around 20% higher. It was 216, right now it will be 245. So it's already like 20% buff to our damage. Just Spark got plus 20% damage buff. Pretty cool. Now, Stormweaver. He got refracted infusion. Previously, you got 50% chance when collecting elemental infusion to gain another different elemental infusion. And this passive node on Ascendancy class got changed. So Stormweaver right now will grant you another elemental infusion. Previously it was 50% chance. Basically every time we gain infusion, we will get another one. There is one more buff for collecting remnants, and its Storm Recollection will grant you ability to pick up remnants from 50% further away. We will get back to our Stormweaver when I will explain my plan how we will build this Ascendancy, but for now, you're probably already crying, where is these buffs? Come on, here they are. Take a look over here. We get a bunch of changes on passive skill tree. So, Elemental Equilibrium Keystone now grants Cold Infusion Remnants will create Fire Remnants instead of Cold. Fire Remnants will create Lightning. Lightning Remnants will create Cold. What is this? No one playing this node, I guess. So it's Elemental Equilibrium. It's located on the top left, so it's over here, pretty easily accessible, near one of the most popular energy shield enhancement for mages. So Elemental Equilibrium right now in 0.3 gives you ability to create a random element from infusions. Basically, we can't control what's going on, and it changes into we got full control on what's going on. If you ever played Sorceress, well, you probably already see some combinations. For example, Lightning Infusion will create Cold. This means we can play classic Spark with Orbs of Storm combination, because Orbs of Storm will basically create Lightning Infusion, and when we collect it, we will be able to shoot Spark with Ice at the same time, because Lightning will become Ice. Pretty cool. At the same time, we get bunch of buffs to our principal infusion. Basically, there's loads of nodes that will give us ability to pick up them from further away. So let's talk about these siphon elements. Basically, when this active, we will have chance to create infusion remnant when we freeze, shock or ignite target. And that's the key. We cast Spark and we shock targets. Thanks for our keystone, Elemental Equilibrium, instead of fire we will create lightning, instead of lightning we will create cold, and instead of cold we will create fire. So yeah, that's how it works. At the same time, thanks for our refracted infusion from Stormweaver, every time we will create anything with this stuff, it will be multiplied by 2 and it will create different element with 100% chance. Or like over here, it doesn't matter too much. So technically, we use Spark with siphon elements on, we don't need any other preparations, and when we shock target, it will trigger Cold Infusion. So we got Mr. Cold, but with Mr. Cold we will get one random different type. So it can be like fire, for example. But if this will trigger, fire can become lightning actually. And if it will create lightning, let's actually make these two situations. So this lightning and that's fire. So fire will actually become lightning and lightning will become cold. Now guess what? At the same time, when we're generating this stuff, after we cast Spark for a second time, it will be infused with cold. So on second cast, it actually generates one cold infusion for sure, because it will be shocking targets, which randomly generates one more cold or one more lightning, and if it's lightning it can be fire at the same time, and if it's over here it probably double cold, and in this situation I don't know, but basically it's unlimited generation of remnants. It's not just one boring remnant that you're waiting for 10 seconds, it's just pew 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 and you got like all the remnants ready and you go in and just destroy everyone. Here's another cool part. While we're having all this stuff active, well, our damage is multiplied. Not by 20%, but by adding this cold infusion, we're actually adding like plus 100% multiplication, because it's extra cold damage and it's higher than lightning, and it's pretty much insane. And we're not stopping over here. Sometimes, as you can see, we're generating a little bit of fire. Yes? Yes, of course. We get a chance to generate a little bit of fire. So what we will do with fire infusion? Well, we will use another skill, and it's none other than Comet. Comet is pretty cool skill, and it can consume fire infusion. Normally it deals at level 19 up to 1000 cold damage, and if fire infused, it will deal a little bit less cold damage, but the same amount of fire damage, which is pretty crazy. So we can ignite right now with Comet, and of course we can generate more and more infusions, remnants and guys like this. But we're not using Comet normally, it's more like late game stuff, of course. We will be utilizing it with cast on critical, but it's not like most important part, it's just for your knowledge that we're not using Comet manually, we're manually only casting Sparks and that's it. So we're getting this Comet, and here's good news. Someone in Balance team decided that fire infused Comet, which is already one of the most powerful skills in the game in terms of raw damage output, on level 20 gem instead of 800 damage should inflict 1.6k, basically doubling its damage. So Comet got plus 100% damage is when it's fire infused, and that's exactly what we want to see in Path of Exile 2 when we talk about, you know, this combo wombo playstyle. So you need to work, you need to get your remnants ready, and you get your reward. You're getting basically double damage on one of the most powerful skills in the game. So this part is understandable. We're already at around like plus, what is our final verdict? It's plus like 220%. So I hope it's understandable. It's like simple math. Basically, we cast Spark and destroy everyone. That's because it's 220. But we're not stopping over here. Of course, there is more. How it can be otherwise? There's also another pretty new stuff. So how we can increase our damage. There's one pretty like easy and straightforward one, Archmage. It will give us ability to gain 4% as extra lightning damage for maximum mana. Keep this in mind. We probably will use it, probably not, depending on our items. But what we will actually use this new stuff, and of course it's from Huntress. So Trinity also got some changes in recent patch. Previously it was the buff that gave you ability to increase power of your elemental damage attacks. But it got changed, and basically it increases your elemental damage, no matter what damage you do. So it works on spells. And at the same time, with quality, you will increase your skill speed, which is also casting speed. So it's pretty cool. But what's more cool and how it works, basically it gives you more elemental damage per resonance. So what is a resonance? Resonance is a buff granted by Trinity. There's 3 types of each. And there's fire, cold, lightning, and you can have maximum 100 of each. You lose resonance every second if you haven't gained resonance of the type in past 8 seconds. So basically you need to deal like lightning, cold and fire damage. You build up your resonance, they can build up to 100, and technically in the end Trinity will give us plus 45% more damage. Why plus 45% more damage? So Comet will deal fire damage, it will build up fire resonance. Spark will build up our lightning and cold. We will build up basically 3 types of resonance at the same time for 45% multiplicative damage. So it's not like additive to 220, it's actually plus like 350 right now, because it's pretty crazy. Of course, we will basically multiply this number by this number, and we will always deal damage on maximum Trinity. Those of you who know how Passive Exile works will say, well, how you get 100 extra spirit for Trinity? Are you using only Trinity? And I would say no, we're not using only Trinity. Of course we will use some maybe Siphon elements at least, so we need 30 extra spirit. It's achievable on gear. But also, as you know, I want to use cast on crit. So we need 230 spirit for build to work. Where do we get this like 100 extra spirit as sorcerer? Well, basically for augments on focus with plus level to all skills kinda lowered, so technically they want to remove the gap between focus and wand and staff. So in this new update, if you're going for staff, you may roll, for example, like plus 8 level to all skills, maybe plus 7 still. But when you're going for wand and focus, you won't be able to reach the same level to all skills, so it will be lower by like 2 levels or so. This means we got kinda 2 options with this playstyle. We can go for staffs and just try to build maximum level to all skills, or we can completely rely on Trinity and forget about the staffs, buy cool wand, and instead of focus, use other offhand weapon. This weapon is of course Scepter. Scepters will grant you spirit, and some godlike scepters can give us up to 200 spirit, as you can see, so we can have like 320, but that's like some godlike stuff. It's still pretty cool, because spirit is not only like the main stuff for scepters, there's also like different skills. There's like Omen scepters that will increase chance for us to land critical strike. There's some different ones that will give you protection from like fire, ice, and discipline. I don't know, but probably it looks like aura that grants total maximum energy shield and grants energy shield recharge rate. So we will kinda get benefits of energy shield with this focus, this scepter I mean. At the same time, we can find one with pretty big bonus to mana, and it will come with at least 100 spirit, and we can have even more. The only downside for scepter is inability to roll resistances, so that's like kinda bad stuff. But we can roll loads of other useful stuff, like intelligence, for us it will be useful, increased mana regeneration rate, and even we can drop essence that will increase power of aura skills. Maybe we will use some auras if we get like really big amount of spirit. Still, we're getting all this stuff, we're trying to scale a little bit of critical strike, and as I told you, the problem is our resistances. Some of them can be fixed by runes, of course, in our sockets. but also like how do we survive? And there's different ways how we can survive. Of course, we can stack insane amount of energy shield, but at the same time we kinda can combine it with stuff like mind over matter. However, mind over matter will give you ability to take all damage from mana before life, but it will lessen our mana recovery rate. So technically, even though we're taking damage from mana, it will be hard to replenish our life. And mana, unlike other like resource, is actually recharged constantly. So technically, with high mana regeneration, you can be almost unkillable. You can see mana never like going down, and we can easily fix it. So this legendary item, Cloak of Defiance, it will give you 100% increased mana regeneration rate. I mean, it can give you, previously only 50. And also it gives you ability to take 50% of damage from mana before life. Now getting back to our Stormweaver, we're definitely taking Refracted Infusion to gain this like infinite amount of remnants, but there is a pretty obvious way to play. We're playing Shock Mage, so we need to go into Shock 3. But last part will give you ability that basically all damage from hits contribute to shock chance. Honestly, this was never like a problem to shock enemies as Stormweaver, especially with Spar. So instead, we just completely ignore this part, because Strike Twice is gained instantly, and Strike Twice will give you ability to drop 2 shocks at the same time, basically increasing power of your shock instantly. And we will go into Arcane Surge. Arcane Surge is completely insane stuff because it will give you cast speed and more mana regeneration. And last part of this branch is Force of Will. It will give you ability to make 20% of damage taken from mana before life, while at the same time increasing effect of Arcane Surge per 10% of missing mana, so it basically increasing power of Arcane Surge at the same time. This means basically instead of using Mind over Matter, we can use this unique that I just described, and here it is. So it's not that bad, will require testing and need some calculations. Again, we will lose a little bit of elemental resistances, but it's something we can think about. What is better in like mathematical approach? So is it better to get even more mana regeneration rate and have like 50% total with buffs, 70% total damage taken from mana before life? It probably will give us like a lot better effective HP than higher energy shield armor piece. And even this armor piece can roll like 600 energy shield. The best one on the market right now is 1.2k energy shield, but considering we will get more mana regeneration, and we will take some damage from mana before life, probably this is pretty effective stuff if we can fix our resistances. And we will fix not only resistances, but also we will increase our damage even more. So previously it was completely useless unique, Chur of the Storm, because, well, on the paper it's pretty cool. It gives you ability when you critical hit to ignore enemy monster lightning resistance. That's why we will scale critical hit, and we will completely ignore resistance, triggering lightning bolt skill on critical hit at the same time. And lightning bolt is pretty powerful ability that normally Stormweavers does not have. Therefore we will add it to calculation, and of course it will be some massive buff like 469% damage. It's pretty crazy. But if you're worrying about triggering lightning bolt skill, don't worry. Lightning bolt is a spell, therefore basically you will trigger spell on critical hit that will deal pretty nice massive lightning damage with a big chance to shock, therefore it can shock enemy, generate infusions and create more infusions, more remnants and more damage, and then it's critical hit, it's comet. It also can critical hit separately on critical hit, because when you land a critical hit you land lightning bolt, and it also can critical hit, therefore there will be like double critical hit that will cast comet on crit, and comet will crit, and it will basically generate fire and ice, and oh my god, it's just broken. It's just completely broken. I don't know how GGG managed to completely break Stormweaver again, but it sounds fun. And what sounds fun is inability to gain resistances with these amulets, you know, these legendary amulets from Zesht. You get them by killing pinnacle bosses, and you get some weird stuff that you never use, because plus 30 lightning resistance, come on, there's loads of useful stuff on no amulets. But this Chur of the Storm actually right now will provide up to 100 lightning resistance, therefore we can get this like Chur of the Storm, we can get bunch of good rings, we can fix our resistances, probably get massive energy shield, probably get at the same time massive mana pool, and instead of our tiny life pool, scale into chaos inoculation, so we will be immune to chaos damage. And I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. If you want to dive deeper in this class, make sure to subscribe and make a comment that you're interested in this stuff. I will start League as Druid and as Sorcerer at the same time, and if you're interested in this type of Stormweaver, definitely I will make videos sooner than later. See you in the next videos.